Sting is a 2024 horror film that tells the story of a young girl named Charlotte who lives in a brownstone with her stepfather, her mother, and her little brother, as well as her great aunt who owns the building and her grandmother who lives on the top floor of this building. Now, a meteor passes through Earth's atmosphere and a meteorite breaks through and crashes into their home. And what hatches is a little spider. And Charlotte discovers the spider and decides to keep it. And as she feeds it and feeds it, it starts to grow and grow and grow until it gets so big it causes all mayhem inside this building. While he's causing mayhem and havoc, we're getting an in-depth dive into almost everyone in the building, kind of. Really so much Charlotte's family and also her relationship with her stepfather, because she's also, her father's on his spare time, he's a comic book artist, and they love the comic book that him and his stepdaughter just wrote together, and they want to go forward with it. But he still has to work his daytime job, which is being the super and dealing with Charlotte's great aunt, who's kind of a pain in the ass, and his own wife, who's too busy with her own job, and she has a kid. And Charlotte's stepfather, I forgot his name, I think his name was Ethan, I could be wrong. He really, really wants Charlotte to call him dad because she's been with her since she was a little kid. And every time he feels like they're close because they have such good chemistry together and he really loves her, she always refers to him as Ethan. She will never refer to him as dad. Okay, see that? Does that sound like these two things mesh at all? I just went through a whole diatribe of that's what the film really is about the relationship between the stepfather and the daughter. And sometimes it's sweet, and I get it. I mean, if he was raising the baby since she was 2, I mean, I don't know. But I guess the father was still in the picture at that time. But, I mean, that's your dad too, dude. Kind of, he raised you. But, you know, everyone's got to get their own way there, I guess. But at the same time, it comes off as weird as Ethan's horrible, kind of, not horrible acting. He's good. I could tell I don't know. It's just something's off. This relationship's off. It's a weird relationship. I don't know. There are good elements in this movie. I think this director has visually, he's very talented. There's a whole sequence in the beginning of the spider going through the dollhouse. I thought that was cool. There's a little, there's good shots. There's really good shots when, I will say that. I will give it that. I think this director is talented. I think he can do something well. I just don't think this was it. And it took for me, and then there's parts in between. I think there's like 1 or 2 deaths in between that we get to see, and then there's some other things too. But like the first, I don't know, I wasn't interested in the first death. Like I thought the movie got good within the first hour, like when the spider was big, and that's when it was getting good. And it's kind of not interesting when there's only one spider, you know. And I don't know, this director, I heard in an interview, he kept saying that he was scared of spiders, you know, his arachnophobia. I don't think he does, because I have somebody that's close to me that is, he is, and he's scared shitless of spiders. Like he wants nothing to do. He can't even look at them. So I don't know if this guy's really that. I think this was the story he wanted to tell, which was the relationship between the father and the daughter, and then he wanted to kick in this element of the spider, but it would work if there was more than one spider and it didn't get this big in a way. And it always works if there's more spiders. I mean, it's hard. For me, the movie didn't get good until the spider attacks Ethan and his family, spoiler alert. And then the Charlotte has to save the day. That's when I thought the film was getting fun. And that was about an hour into the movie, I think. And the movie's not long. I think the movie's really short. So it was kind of terrible in that regard. But again, I do see, like, the director, there's good parts, and I do like the last half hour. I highly enjoyed it, to be honest. But it was hard to get through the first half because there was all this exposition and all these things that I didn't really care about. I mean, like, I don't know. And then I just didn't care about the father. I didn't need to hit this whole story, and this is a horror film, right? I get we could get some story in there. I understand that part, but I mean, let's get to the good stuff. And I don't know, I think it does get there, but it takes too long to get there. And I was just not interested. The movie feels like a bunch of different things too, but that's most movies, right? Is at some points I feel like this is Home Alone, when Charlotte starts getting mothballs and breaking them up into, into water and mothball water. That's like he calls Sting. That's the meaning of the movie. That's the spider's weakness is mothball water or mothballs. So like with that part, and she's going through the vents in the building. I was like, okay, seems like Home Alone. But then at the same time, we're getting to know some of the building people and the ants, and then this person and that person. It felt like I was watching that movie from the '80s, Batteries Not Included, about the aliens in the building. You know, the only one I cared about was the daughter, Charlotte. I don't know, I forgot her name, the actress's name. I think it's Aaliyah Brownie or Leah Brown. I thought she was great. I thought she was really good in this movie. But again, the relationship at the end with Ethan and her is so awkward. It's like, what is going on? Like, it just comes off as awkward. I mean, story-wise, it makes sense, but it just comes off as way awkward. I think this director would do much better if he stuck to just directing and not writing. He also sounds like kind of an asshole. I saw in an interview, I heard him say like, "Oh, it didn't do it, so he decided to bring the spider." Then you're not scared of spiders. If it is, you love that scene in It when the spider cut the big giant spider and they didn't have it in the movie. Then you're not. That's what he said in his interview. So he wanted to do it his way. I was like, well, I mean, but then again, there are parts of this movie I do like. I think he's visually talented. I really do, and I do think the climax and he uses great angles. I think he's a talented director. But the beginning too, the whole sequence with the spider. But I just don't think he's good at writing, and I think he should just stick to directing. That's probably the biggest insult to this guy. It appears like he's, that's what it appears like. I'm sorry. And I think I'll kind of be a little bit more fair with my rating, even though like it took me like 2 times to watch this to actually finish it. Actually, I think 3. And that's because I just couldn't get into the movie. Every time it's like an hour into it, I'm like, what? Like, or a half hour, 40 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? It's been one death and one tease in the beginning. Anyway, but that was a good part at the end. I like the ending, though. I like the ending. This movie's weird because the story is really about the father and the daughter. It's not really a horror movie. It's trying to have heart, but I just don't care. The young girl's the most talented thing in the film, to be quite honest. And the black guy, I don't know his name, sorry. I think he was in... he was much better in this than he was in Coming to America, the sequel. I think that's where he's from. Let me see. He was also in Nicky Skinnicky, I think. Jermaine Fowler, yeah. Yeah, I think he was in Coming to America. Yeah, he was. So he must be a famous actor. I haven't seen him in much besides those. I mean, this and Ricky Stenicki. And Ricky Stenicki was not good. And this was okay. I give this 3 out of 5 stars. That's really because the director's... Look, I'm going to say some fucked up shit, but in my opinion, I'm not saying this is like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm just a moviegoer person, And this was shit. And the relationship with the daughter and the stepfather seemed creepy at the end. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I like Charlotte. I think she's a great actress. The other people, they're okay. This girl, I don't know what else she's doing. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. She was in Furiosa. She played young Furiosa in Furiosa. All right. And The Lost Flowers of Alice Hart. Oh, Furiosa got good ratings. And they said you couldn't really tell when they switched. Anyway, I thought they were both... I thought I really liked her in this. Anyway, I give this movie 2 out of 5 stars. I know I said 3 out of 5, but how can I give it 3 out of 5 when I was bored from the first majority of the film? But there are other aspects in this. I think he's a talented director. I really do. There were certain angles. There were certain shots. The ending... I'll tell you, like that. After the first hour, that's when it gets good, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. It's not a terrible film. I just wasn't interested in anything that was happening in the movie. In the first, it just dragged too long for me, and so that's why I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about this movie. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Am I right? Am I wrong? Yeah. Again, like I said, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. If you're new here, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.